All right, the complete look of the scoreboard, and we are efforting to get it completely wiped out in the next few minutes. Is available on our website, FridayNightThunder.com. One of those games that was mentioned last night, Livingston Academy defeats York Institute in a Big 12 AA, I'm sorry, an 8 AA matchup. And Gary Clark is the play-by-play voice for the York Institute Dragons, and he joins us on the phone. Gary, tough night last night for the Dragons.
Hey, well, Dennis, I knew it was going to be a tough game because we'd had a tough week. I mean, I went to Denver on the first of the week and ended up somewhere, Pablo, Colorado or somewhere, and then turned around and on last night I let Sean Green park my car, and you know how that goes. And then after that we ran into the Dylan Linder show.
Oh, my goodness. You have really been working on your current events, my friend. I love it.
That's true.
Do you write all this stuff down, or you just remember it?
No, it's just off the top of my head. If I wrote it down, I couldn't read it.
Your writing is that bad, so maybe you get paid like a doctor. I don't know.
Well, the doctor picks up cans, and he probably...
Well, we're talking to Gary Clark, the play-by-play voice for the York Dragons on WDEB, one of our network partners in Jamestown. The good news is, the bad news is you got beat by Livingston, but the good news is that it looks like that York is going to have enough wins to qualify for the playoffs as a wild card team.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, last night it was just unbelievable. If anybody hasn't seen Livingston Academy, if you get a chance to check out Dylan Linder, the running back for Livingston last night. In the first half, he had all 175 yards of their rushing. He had their only reception for 6 yards. He had 3 touchdowns in the first half, had 7 on the night, and 2 of those was for more than 60-plus yards. I mean, he was slashing and knifing through. I mean, he put so many gashes in us, we look like Freddy Krueger with a bad
itch. Well, tell us about tonight. What have you been out doing? Have you been trick-or-treating tonight?
No, even though I have a built-on mask, but no. I've been monitoring the DeKalb County and Smith County game to see if we were going to finish in the number 2 slot, or we're going to fall to probably, it looks like, the number 4 slot now. Yeah,
it looks like DeKalb got the win there. DeKalb was a team that I was leaving for dead earlier in the year. They've made a big comeback here in the last half of the season, and but so did York. York really played strong down the stretch. You got to feel good going into the playoffs.
Yeah, we played well. Of course, last night just couldn't tackle. We couldn't stop that Dylan Linder, and when you give a kid 7 touchdowns, and you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. But York is playing really well right now. We moved the ball well, had a few turnovers again, and that was something we hadn't done in the last few games. And last night we got bit by the turnover bug again.
We're talking to Gary Clark with York Institute. Of course, York runs that wing T, and I was following the game on Twitter, and it sounded like, according to the guy that was tweeting for Livingston Academy, that wing T was giving them all kinds of fits.
Yeah, it was. We were able to move the ball, had a couple of 9-minute drives at one point and scores. But the real turning point in the ball game, with 2 seconds left to go in the first half, York punted and it rolled out of bounds with about 1.9 seconds left to go in the half. They handed off on a draw. The Linder kid goes 72 yards for a touchdown with 2 seconds left to go. That put him up by a couple of touchdowns, and then York never could regroup. Yeah,
and that's tough when you walk into the you feel like you've got some momentum taking it into the into the locker room at the half, but it's got to be tough. Gary, we need to get to a break here, but we look forward to talking to you in the playoffs, and hopefully that when we find out where everybody's going, we'll get a better idea of who we can talk to you about next week, okay?
That's true. We appreciate it, Dennis.
All right, take care. That is Gary Clark with WDEB, one of our network partners on the Friday Night Thunder Scoreboard Show.
Whether it's